All right. Hey, everybody. Isaiah Colton here with another podcast episode of Renegade CEO, where I bring to you some of my favorite people that have made a transition from being a top producer and professional to a world-class CEO and entrepreneur. And here today, I have Justine Hooper. Welcome, Justine, to the podcast. And I love Justine's story because a couple years back, she took a leap of faith and she was making a ton of money, just absolutely crushing it as a top producer in real estate. And she had a vision and a mission to go start her own real estate brokerage. And for anyone that's ever come from a job or a career or a business that you're doing really well in, and then you're transitioning, and I don't know if it's right to say starting from scratch, but really just starting a new opportunity, it can be a scary thing. And so I had the privilege and honor to work with Justine through the Renegade CEO coaching platform to help her go through that transition. And Justine, I'm excited to capture your story on this podcast to inspire other people here today. Again, thanks for joining.
Yeah, definitely. I'm super excited to be here. I think that sometimes I don't think of my story as inspiring because it was definitely from scratch and it was something that we've clawed together to make something really beautiful. But I feel like if you guys think it's important to share, then we definitely should be sharing it.
It is really important to share. So what I want to start off is just the backstory on why the heck you got involved in real estate out of all things.
Yeah. So I always tell everybody I'm always been customer service oriented. I've been great at a million different things, but it's always brought me back to the best part of me is with people. So whether it was as a waitress or as a bartender or working at an animal hospital or as a manager in a restaurant, like I had like my niche that I knew I was really good at, which was waitressing and being, Susie Sunshine. But I was always looking for like, how can I still work? Because I would work doubles all the time. How can I work this much and not be making as much money? And
right.
I was going to college and I was like, okay, well, I'm going to be a psychiatrist and I'm going to do this. And I would literally base my goals off how much money I could make. And I remember scrolling through Craigslist of all places and seeing, I think like KW's, ads like, oh, be a realtor, be a realtor, be a realtor. And we had actually just bought a house with like two super cool ladies that were really communicating, and I would go back and forth, and I'm super fast at responding. And so they loved that as realtors. And as I was looking through this Craigslist ad, I had said to my husband, like, oh, there's real estate. I was like, I don't even know what it takes to be I don't even know what that means. Like I had no concept of it. And he was like, well, why don't you just ask those ladies? Like you hit it off. And I was like, okay. So I remember texting the girls. It was a group chat because that's how they communicated with me. And I was like, out of curiosity, I have no idea what I'm asking of you right now, but out of curiosity, do you think I would be good in the real estate business? Having no concept of like, if I was a TC or an ISA or a realtor. And they were like, oh my God, you would be amazing. Please just come in tomorrow and like, let us show you. And I was like, okay. So I showed up. And within less than a week, I had quit college, I had quit my job, and I had put myself in a position to be their ISA, like just taking all of their leads. Yeah. And they were like, your personality, it's just going to overflow over the phone. Like, just do your thing. I had no training. Everyone just thought I was going to be great.
Right.
And they put me in an office with the owner of the company. And they were like, yep, this is your desk. And he's going to sit right here and he's going to listen to you and we'll let you know. No one ever gave me any feedback. I was just hitting the phones with, $15,000 a month this guy spent in leads. And I was the first one they were talking to. And my only job was to get them in front of agents, which was fine. I was nailing it. And what I realized as I was doing that was I had said to them, it is just so hard to get these agents to like commit to a day and time. Like I could get the client all day long, but these agents were all over the place.
That's great.
And I was like, I feel like if I got my license, I could do this. And they were like, you definitely could. And in Michigan, obviously I'm licensed in Michigan and in Texas, but in Michigan, it was only a 40-hour course. And I was like, I could take a week of PTO and go get this in my mind. That's what I could do. And they were like, yes, go, And so I got licensed and I was still ISAing, but then no, he was like, if they say no, like if you have a list of agents that say they won't take out these clients, then you go take them out. And I was like, deal. I didn't have any kids. I didn't have any. So I would go through, I think, a list of like 10 to 15 agents. And then, I got 15 no's and I'd be like, okay, I'm setting, I'm going, and, I think the first 2 showings I went on, which was like a $800,000 client. And my broker was like, hold on, like, you don't even know what you're doing. Cause I had no mentoring either. Like it was just straight up. They just thought I was really good at people, which I am.
Yep.
And he was like, I'm going to go. And I was like, that's fine. Like, do you mind if I tag along? And he was like, yes. The day of, he was like, I can't go. And I was like, I can still go. Do you want to give me any pointers? He's like, just do what you do. And I did, and I nailed the client, and I sold their $650,000 condo, and then I helped them buy $1 million house. And
wow.
It just blew everybody's mind. But I did that, and it was like all of a sudden I had $50,000 in less than 4 months, and I was like, whoa, like this is, I told my husband, I was like, I'm not doing anything else. Like this is all. And my husband, we were not making a ton of money then. We were really kind of scraping together, if you will. We had gotten barely pre-approved for a $200,000 house that we had just bought. And he was like, I was like, this is commission based, right? Which is very scary.
Yeah.
And he was like, it's fine. He's like, try it for a year. We can do this for a year. And within that year, I had went from making like $50,000 in the first few months to making $100,000 in a year to, surpassing $200,000 every year since.
I love it.
Yeah. So it was just a really cool way. And I love telling people that because I'm like, it's possible, right? You can do it and you can do it with no training. That's not ideal, but you can do it,
Yeah. So my first question for this part of the story is like, I heard you say that you made the decision, based on the money, like, and you're looking at like, I think practical, like, hey, look, if I'm going to put all this time, money, and energy into something, I want to make sure I'm going to get paid for it. That's right. That's pretty much the psychology, right?
Yeah, because I'm a helper. So no matter what, I'm going to be helping. It's just how much I'm going to get paid for helping.
For helping people, right? Because everything you did was helping people. You're like, so if I can get paid more for helping people, why wouldn't I find a more productive, profitable way to do that? So I like that. And so walk me through the next part of your story then. So you obviously had success. Why did you decide to, what was the conversation when it came to listing, buying? What was that ratio for you? Did you have any convictions there? And then I'd like to fast forward to like, why did you decide to leave? If you don't mind sharing.
Yeah. So I was able to, like I said, do it without any mentoring. So any mentoring I got, I was just soaking it in. I was pulling it from all angles. And when I had a listing appointment, and I'm talking for years, this was who I was from 2016 to maybe 2018, I would show up at a listing appointment without a single thing. The only thing that I would do is like run comps to make sure I priced it right. And then I was like, so knowing that, right, the conviction I had in that was if I could do that for 3 years and make over $100,000, imagine what I could do if I, tried it, or like had systems and had materials. And then with buyers, my first couple of years, I was, it was tire kickers all day long. I mean, I would drive anywhere in Michigan. I'm like, I'm licensed in Michigan. I'll take them in Michigan kind of thing. And so over the next couple of years, that's all I did, to the point where I got to a point where I was like, wait a second. I don't need to take all of these buyers, no matter how much I love money. I don't need to be driving, 15-hour days, which I definitely was. And so what it came to was I had a girl that I connected with there, and I was like, hey, I bought some leads. The brokerage has some leads. Do you want to just take these on with me? And she was like, sure, brand new herself. So I was teaching her, and I had no real mentoring. And so we were kind of, me, her, and another girl, and actually another guy just got together, and we just started doing these leads. We were the only ones that were answering. And so we knew without a doubt that if you just put yourself in the right place at the right time, and you were willing to just hyper focus, you could make tons and tons of money. We were making this broker tons of money again, but though with no structure. So what we did from about 2018 to 2021 was build his structure. It's and so we were like, okay, anybody you give leads to, like, that the 5 of us got it. Anybody that you bring into this little 5 group that we've now made has to follow a protocol, has to do this many calls, has to, we like put all these steps. And he was like, great. So we did that. And then all of a sudden about 2019, 2020, we had someone like, hey, like, I want to join your team. I didn't have a team. So he was a past client. He was a past client. He was like, I want to join your team. I was like, oh man, you should talk to my broker. This place is great. And he was like, okay. So he talked to somebody and then he came back and he's like, don't you have a team? And I was like, oh, well, me and Rachel like take leads. He's like, yeah, I want to join that. And I was like, oh, okay. So we took him in and we started teaching him, like, between the 2 of us, just trying to teach him what we knew. And then all of a sudden we had another one, and then somebody else wanted to join our team, and we were like, okay, now we have our team. So then we still ran leads, but then we had our own little team on the side, and that went really well for a really long time. And then in like 2022, my business partner and I, we both had our first kid. We were both just trying to navigate all of the things that came along with, hey, we now have, thousands of dollars of our own leads that we're spending. We have a team we have to educate, and we actually don't care about a whole lot other than our tiny little babies at this particular moment.
Right.
So then we started building what is now, Amplify's mentor program. Like, me and her, we started building little bits of it. And it was like, sometimes we'd be committed, sometimes we're not, which started to build friction and started to build, anxiety. And also, with our team, they didn't know who to go to, right? They would just be like, oh man, Justine would answer, this person wouldn't, whatever the case was. So at that point, my broker, we went to our broker, and we had been best friends for 7 years from the time we had met in 2016 to now. We had been best friends, and he was like, and emotions were high. And he was like, do you still want to be business partners? And I remember, quite frankly, not thinking about my answer and being like, no, not if it's going to be like this. And that was the end of our relationship. That one comment made everything fall apart. And I couldn't get it back together. It didn't matter how much I did. It was not aligning with what we wanted or anything. It didn't matter what I gave up. Because it wasn't coming back. I had already said what I said. So I had went to my husband, to our team, and do
you regret saying it?
I miss it. I miss the person that I was with. I miss even like the collaboration that we had and the fun that we had, and all the things that came along with it. I regret doing it the way that I did. I don't think that I would be here with Amplified where I am now had I not. We had very different goals. I had huge goals. I could see the world, and it just wasn't exactly what she wanted in that time. But I'll be honest, I still have like daydreams about like, what if we just come back together? Like, what if we just build it differently, So I think I do regret it a little bit, but I don't regret it enough to say, well, I just wouldn't have done that, because then I would still be where I was, because I love what we're building. And I think it's really cool. I also think agents really need what we're building.
Out of curiosity, when was the last time you talked to her?
I actually just texted her a couple of weeks ago and told her I had a weird dream about her. And then I wished her happy birthday a day before that. Like it's just kind of like very surface level. Our husbands are actually best friends. Oh, okay. So we definitely are still, friendly, but it's not the same. Right. And so it's just one of those things. But I remember coming to our team and being like, hey team, like, we are going to part ways. And there's like 5 or 6 of us now. And I don't want you to feel either way, but we're going to take the next week and really think about what that means for the 2 of us. And then you guys can decide to go on your own. You can follow one of us, decide whatever you want to do. Like, we weren't going to pressure them either way. And I brought it to my husband, and somebody on the team, actually the very first person who had called me to make the team, was like, listen, you're making enough money to have your own brokerage. And I had, in 2018, or 2019, I'd actually gotten my license. for
Oh,
being
okay.
a broker, but
Okay.
I didn't do anything. I
Do
remember
anything with
doing
it?
it and being like, I just wanted to know that I could. And also I loved my broker. And so if he ever needed anything, I wanted to be able to be that person for him. So he was like, you already have your broker's license. I was like, I know nothing about owning a brokerage. I have no idea what I'm doing. That is not what I want. Like, and he was like, but listen, look at the numbers. And my husband and, you know, this gentleman, they're very analytical, and they're like, you're not lying. Once they laid it out on the paperwork that if I could just do exactly what I was already doing, but with my own brokerage, we could change the world, like truly with my mindset and the
I
numbers
love
that we
that. I love
yeah.
that.
So then I said, okay, then we're opening up our own brokerage. And we told the team, hey, we're opening up our own brokerage. It's going to be kind of the same concept. It's going to be a little bit more mentoring, but decide who you want to go with. And, you know, some people went with me, some people went with her, and here's Amplified, you know, and so
That's awesome. So let's talk about Amplified now. Why'd you call it Amplified? Let's talk about that story, and then fast forward to where you are today. Once we learn a little bit more about Amplified.
It's a little embarrassing, I will be honest, because I actually didn't like the name. I
like the name. Yeah.
And it fits now. Now that I have it, I love it.
But it didn't then. Yeah.
No,
yeah.
I remember. So I'm a big believer in majority rules. So if I am not like going to stand on my mountain and die there, then whatever the majority thinks.
Right.
And we actually had a Facebook poll because I wanted something that I could visualize, like branching out globally, which was Rhizome. And that was like what I wanted to call it, was Rhizome Realty. And we had 9,000 other names, you know, but ultimately it was like the difference between Amplified and Rhizome. And I was like, all right, let's take it to Facebook. Like, let's see what the public likes. And we took that poll, and it was Amplified, like hands down, landslide. I lost. And I was like, all right, no big deal. I lost. And so then we had Amplified Real Estate. And it was also really cool because the logo that we had with our old team and into Amplified, now it's basically the same thing. It's just now an A instead of a D, you know, like there.
That's cool. So
yeah, it was an easy transition.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So that's how the name came to be, for sure.
That's cool. And so what is like your short-term, long-term goal with Amplified?
Yeah. So long term, I want to be in 50 states in at least 5 countries, because I think if I hit that point, then I will have the model that I think that agents need, as well as the brand out there enough to know that I can affect as many lives as possible. They'll be in as many places as possible. Yeah. And that's my goal, right? It's to just help people understand that you can make a lot of money. And whether I charge nothing or $1 million, I can help you make $1 million, right? So, and I want to do that across the world. I really don't think, from my own perspective, I don't think that people understand that like this is life-changing money. This is life-changing work that you're doing, right? Even helping people buy and sell houses.
Oh yeah. You're moving the entire economies.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you get enough people to do it, right, with the right mindset and the right leaders, they're going to do it ethically and in a beautiful way. And they're just going to change the world. And like, that is the long-term goal. I love that. And global domination, if you will. But my short-term goal is there's a couple of sections, right? There is the section of my agents. Like, I want them to understand so fully what I'm doing that even though it feels sometimes, I've been told, it feels like a water hose, you know, to the face, that it's just so important, right? All of this learning I'm making you do, all of this hand holding, all of this, no, you cannot send out a contract until one of us has looked at it, is so important and so beautiful. So getting them to buy in on the short term, and then also be able to explain it to agents as they come on, is really important to me. The next thing is to, in the short term, get to at least 100 agents, right? I want to, in our Michigan market. And just to make sure that I have that solid foundation of people that not only know what they're doing, but also, like, I want Amplified to be able to stand on its own, right? As CEOs and owners, we all know that our money, it comes in and it can sit with the company for a hot minute.
Oh yeah.
And essentially that's what it's doing right now, right? We have so much money going out because I know that this is what I want to be doing. However, I know that if I get to a certain amount of agents doing a certain amount of deals, we don't have to worry about that anymore. And 100 is like way surpasses that number that I have to be at. But if I had, anywhere from 50 to 100 agents doing at least anywhere from 5 to 12 deals a year or more, we're going to be at a place where I can grow globally without even having to worry about the market. So I just want to teach agents that, like, you just have to start small and learn as much as you can and apply it as fast as you can and be okay with all of the crappy stuff in between.
And that's so powerful. One of my favorite quotes, and I think that a lot of agents struggle with this, and it's a difference, that I see between you, other great entrepreneurs, everyone that I interviewed, trained, coach. It's this characteristic where entrepreneurs realize that entrepreneurship is organized chaos.
Yeah.
Meaning, like, as much as you put systems in place, as much as you have a plan, as much as you do things, it's still going to always be chaotic, and there's never a perfect moment to just take action. And I find that one of the biggest downfalls to when I have these conversations and I'm interviewing people, it's that difference is, it's this person thinking that something's just going to be perfect one day and I'm not going to take action until I get it absolutely perfect, versus the person that says that realizes the faster that you embrace the mess and embrace the chaos and take action, the faster you turn your dream into reality, but also that uncertainty into actual opportunity. Yeah. And so I've seen you do that extremely well over the the 2-3 years that we've been working together. You're just really good at taking action, and that's why I have no doubt global domination is in your future for sure.
Yeah, and I want to say that one thing that you've taught me that really aligns with this part of the conversation is, I used to have such a conviction of the organized chaos that standard operating procedures almost like didn't even seem important, because I was like, you just have to do it, Right. And yeah, there's going to be 9,000 things that go wrong. Like, you just have to work through it. You just have to work through it. Like the, I don't even know what to call it, but like the force, right? You just have to force yourself to get through it.
That's right.
And you have really challenged me to say, that's fine, you can force it, but also there should be like a regular process, of the ideal process, if you will.
Yeah.
And I never thought about it that way. I never thought that like there would be an ideal process. I just thought, well, we're going to just handle it as it comes. So now, as we're, almost 3 years, in November, it'll be 3 years that we've been here, and 3 years with you guys, is that the processes that we have, I see it in my agents. They'll be like, that doesn't cover it. And I was like, I know it doesn't cover it, but we've got to just learn this, because it's part of the chaos, right? Like it's part of just learning the solution.
Yep.
And that's why I tell everyone, and I make it a really big deal with our mission, is like solution-based. You have to be solution-based. You can't be stuck on what I'm telling you or what I said happened. You have to say, yes, that's one instance, and here's another instance, kind of thing.
I love that. And it's the other thing that I love is that you work with what you have and you make it better. You work with what you have, and I've seen you do that extremely well. And I think that standard operating procedures, it also helps us be better leaders, because when you're a driver like we are, and there's no standard operating procedures, we can blow our team out of the water, right? Like. And it helps helps them understand why we're doing what we're doing. Because essentially we were able to take out what we know intuitively to do, put it on paper, put it on video, and then help make sure that we're all on the same page, moving in the same direction. And that's why I love the flywheel model, because usually if whether it comes marketing, sales, or any part of your business, usually if there's friction, it's because of the people, the process, and tools all not coming together. And if you can remove that bottleneck or that friction point, that's when I usually see individuals and teams just have a breakthrough, whether that breakthrough manifests over time or sometimes overnight, which is really exciting to see. And, so I guess, I know that there's going to be some people watching this, Justine, and they're probably curious about Amplified. And so what do you think, if you had to pick 3 reasons why somebody should consider checking out Amplified, whether it be on your team or independent, what are the top 3 things that people love about Amplified that might make people curious to check out?
Yeah. So number one, without a doubt, the high touch culture that I have created. I wouldn't even say by accident. I really believe that agents need a lot of handholding, and that is not something that is available for everybody, right? Or in any brokerage, right? We are doing 2 accountability calls a day at 8 and 4. We're doing a deal meeting on Wednesdays at 12, and then a deal meeting on Thursdays at 8 p.m. for the night owls, right? And that's just people that are active in deals, right? So like, instead of inundating us with all your questions all of the time, come to those meetings, come to the accountability meetings. We'll do trainings, we share. So that's the biggest thing, is on top of all of the one-on-one coaching that we do with our mentees, we also provide high touch to anyone in the brokerage that needs it. So number one. Number 2, which helps me globally, is the national sales and marketing training. What you have provided my team has been, I don't think there has been anything that I have been able to be like, this is what we're struggling with, that you haven't either provided for me personally or provided for your own company, that everyone has been able to benefit off of. And I think that that is going to be so essential for me as I grow bigger and bigger and bigger, that you guys are just there, just stay there and help us, because it's so important that while we're providing all this high touch individual agent deal, we have you guys to teach us how to be in front of our, social medias, and make sure that we're role playing, and make sure that we're talking through like all of our operations of it. They're just 2 totally different things, right?
Yep.
And then if I had to say one last thing, it's that I am providing all of this high resources, high impact, high touch for nothing. If you do what I'm asking you to do, I'm not going to charge you a thing. Now, that being said, we do have to have a cap so that we can pay for all of these things. So, but it's a $10,000 cap for the year, which I don't see anybody in my market doing. Yeah. So if all of those 3 things put together, you're talking high touch national sales training at the lowest cost that I can possibly provide. And all you have to do is be held accountable to growing the business that you said you wanted to grow in the first place.
That's powerful. Those are really, can I join your team?
Yeah. No.
Yeah. Don't tempt me.
Don't tempt me.
Well, that's great. If you had somebody that inspires to be a version of you someday, and you had to kind of bottle up a phrase or a saying or a piece of advice or a combination of the above, what would you leave us with?
Yeah. So I think the very first, it gives me goosebumps to even talking about, because it's so powerful to me. I have it as a screensaver, and it's actually a blurry saved picture that I have as my screensaver. And it says 80% of your problems can be solved with discipline. And wait, hold on. Let me just, 80% of your problems can be solved with discipline. And to me, that's so important, because when I started Amplified, I was drowning. And the only way that I knew how to not drown was to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning and work until forever, like it just didn't stop. And if you can, I'm not saying get up at 3 a.m. I'm saying look at your schedule. And if you're not disciplined in every single area that you want to accomplish, then you don't really want to accomplish that, right? So discipline yourself. If you have a problem, I always ask myself when I have a problem, can discipline within me help me with this?
Wow, that's strong.
And if it can't, then you got a different problem, right? But it's very rare that it can't.
That's powerful. That's great. And so how would somebody reach out to you if they want to interview for your team, or see if the team is a good fit for them, and vice versa?
Yeah, so you can, the easiest way is obviously to call me, 269-509-2254. You can email me. That's a little bit, my email can be the last thing I look at, but Justine@ampedre.com. They can go on our website and click just ask an agent, talk to an agent. They can also go on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Snapchat, all of the places, and just send me an instant message. I am actively involved in all of those places. And as soon as I see it come, either it's me or my assistant, they're like on it, so whatever way, and I'm a big believer in this too, whatever way your people it is easiest for them to reach out, just do it that way, because I am open to every avenue and I just want to align with what works best for you.
I love that. That's great. Well, Justine, I'm inspired. I've heard bits and pieces of your story, but I've and obviously we've gotten to know each other well through our coaching sessions, but I've never heard it, I guess, articulated in a storyline like you did today. And I'm very inspired, very impressed, and I'm just honored to be part of your journey of expanding to different parts of the nation. And I would highly encourage anyone listening to this, reach out to Justine, even if it's just a mastermind with her.
Yeah.
And it's really important to have high integrity, highly motivated entrepreneurs in your life, especially if you inspire to go to the levels that Justine is going and beyond. So I highly recommend you reach out to her, and thanks for sharing your story with everybody. I know my audience is going to be super inspired. Thanks a lot.
Awesome. Thanks so much. Bye.